Professional trainers have an impact on everyone they work with, regardless of whether that impact is intentional or unintentional. Unintentional and possibly negative impacts may be related to the level of ethics practiced by the trainer. This concept is addressed in Ethics for Communication Training Professionals, Case Stems to Codes, a paper researched and written by Bonnie Farley-Lucas, professor at Southern Connecticut State University. Farley-Lucas presented her work at the 2008 National Communication Association Annual Conference in San Diego, California. Her research and resulting paper were follow-up to earlier research and papers written in 1994 and 2004, which she presented at numerous communication industry venues. Trainers always affect the situations with which they work, whether they deal with groups, individuals, or organizations, because they are at least temporarily a part of such systems through their engagement in relationships. Farley-Lucas believes that instruction in ethics should be required for prospective communication trainers, as there is no licensure or credentialing in place to assure that trainers are competent, and trainers impact the people they train as well as the organizations they work for. She recommends case stems as a viable methodology for educating communication training and development students about relationships between ethics and the practice of a professional trainer. Farley-Lucas also advocates that communication trainers create and adopt personal codes of ethics by which to abide in their practices. Professional trainers, by the nature of their work and perceived authority, are viewed as role models and examples. By virtue of their capacities as subject experts and instructors, professional trainers have an impact on everyone they work with, regardless of whether that impact is intentional or unintentional. Poor ethical practices may contribute to the unintentional negative impacts. Farley-Lucas reviewed a selection of popular training texts and determined that material on ethics included in such texts ranged from an implied reference to ethics to an explicit 5-page treatment of ethics in communication training and development. Even though the 5 pages were explicit, this is still a limited amount of information with which to provide a thorough grounding to prepare communication training students for the ethical issues and dilemmas they will likely face as professionals. Through her literature review, Farley-Lucas determined that the ethical issues most prevalent for communication trainers are ensuring that the training environment keeps participants safe from harm, harassment, and negative experiences, maintaining confidentiality or anonymity when necessary, when preparing training materials and working with participants, accurately keeping and maintaining records of assessments, evaluations, and reports, both for the hiring organization and for the trainees, avoiding plagiarism of training materials and use of canned programs and/or unidentified sources, ensuring that he or she is fully qualified and competent to offer training and services related to the topic or subject matter requested or recommended, maintaining relationships with clients and participants that are appropriate and professional, and continuing to keep abreast of subject matter through ongoing learning and professional development. To prepare aspiring communication trainers to address the prevalent ethical issues they are likely to face in the real world, Farley-Lucas advocates use of case stems, or abbreviated case studies, as means for students to gain experience in the use of systematic problem-solving processes. Case stems offer a dialogic format in place of traditional lecture, which provides a more active means for students to achieve the desired learning goals. It also helps them to engage by adding details and overall depth of description to the cases they are discussing. Unlike case studies, case stems offer multiple issues to consider. There is no one clear solution, and should encourage use of problem-solving approach instead of placing emphasis on negative behaviors. Debriefing allows instructors to help students tie the ethical situations they have just explored to various organizational dynamics from their own experiences, as well as to provide organizational examples if needed. A trainer may be fully competent in his or her subject matter. However, without a value system, the trainer may have an unintentional negative impact on training participants rather than the intended positive outcome. As communicators Cutlip, Center, and Broom wrote in their text Effective Public Relations, one without the other falls short of ideal. Ethics without competence is meaningless. Competence without ethics is directionless. In addition to receiving thorough ethics instruction, Farley-Lucas also recommends that aspiring communication trainers develop a personal code of ethics to which they will adhere in their practices. She advocates creating a printed version to use in the trainer's identity kit as part of his or her promotional materials. Sharing the personal code of ethics with clients and potential clients helps the trainer to take ownership of the code, as well as be consciously aware of his or her commitment and accountability to the code. In her paper, Farley-Lucas refers to the ethical code published by the American Society for Training and Development, an appropriate resource for training professionals. She describes the Society's ethics code as a clearly articulated code of ethics that enjoins trainers to be self-managing professionals with high standards of integrity and competence, who will positively promote workplace learning and performance. However, as her paper focuses on communication trainers, I suggest also reviewing industry resources as a means to broaden perspective by viewing ethics through a communication-oriented lens. For example, codes of ethics are also provided by communication industry associations such as the International Association of Business Communicators, the Public Relations Society of America, and the Society of Professional Journalists. Even though Farley-Lucas addresses the needs of training and development students in her paper, the concepts she presents apply equally to communication professionals who aspire to become professional trainers. Having a personal code of ethics is a valuable tool, as it helps the practitioner to maintain focus on appropriate ethical behavior. According to Kozis and Posner, those who are clear about their values and beliefs have laid the cornerstones for a firm ethical structure. For instance, personal codes of ethics promote ethical conduct and practices in trainers' professional careers. In addition, personal codes of ethics increase personal accountability by providing a tangible, publicized guide for the practitioner's ethical behavior.